The Experiment is a coming-of-age gay erotic film that was released in 1973 and featured a Latino male lead and the topic of coming out. Throw in a well-put-together script and crew, and what they offered us was a formidable entry during the golden age of gay erotica. It is considered the best movie from Jaguar Studios, and it has an elaborate storyline. It also has 26 minutes of character development, but the audience was ready for it. Directed by Gorton Hall, who also appears in the film as the father, The Experiment is a lofty film produced by Mark Aaron, otherwise known as Monroe Beeler, for his company Jaguar Productions. Beeler also provides narration for the film. Barry Knight is the producer and cinematographer of the film, but was also a director for Jaguar and later an editor alongside Russell Moore for Falcon Studios. Knight explained in an interview with Jerry Douglas that he would have loved the opportunity to speak with his parents about his sexuality, but did not get the chance to before they both passed in their 50s to cancer. The task of writing a believable and moving script was left to Gorton Hall. Hall was a director and writer during the Golden Age who hailed from Phoenix, Arizona, and had already written an episode for the Mod Squad, but also had a background directing in small theater productions. The casting was word of mouth and recommendations. Gorton Hall mentioned having a well-endowed boyfriend to producer Barry Knight, and from there, the role of Billy Joe was cast. The role of Gary Lee was played by one of Knight's ex-boyfriends. The production further saved money by using cars and locations that belonged to the crew members, but splurged on a camera crane rental. We open on Anywhere USA to pan to a small cafe. We meet a young man, Billy Joel, telling us about the summer he experimented.
I'll never forget that summer, that restless summer, when I found out who I was, and that long, endless walk to tell my father what I'd learned. When did it start? How do these things ever start? I don't even remember whose idea it was, mine or Gary Lee's. I only remember that it was just an experiment.
I have to say the sweeping shots are really beautiful, and that camera crane rental was definitely worth it. Another young man, Gary Lee, comes out and grabs Billy's attention. And now the credits. We find out through conversation that the two young men are on summer break.
Why do things have to change? Why can't they just stay the way they are?
The guys sneak into someone's house in Palm Springs and use their pool. Billy is in the pool looking at Gary when he realizes something. His friend is hot. He asks Gary about the experiment.
Hey, Gary.
Huh?
What about tonight? Is it still on?
What?
You know. It's experiment.
How the hell should I know?
We're staying in the shack tonight, aren't we?
I guess. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, did you want to?
I said I would, didn't I?
But they are interrupted when the owners of the home come back. While by a waterfall, they once again bring up that thing that they're going to try at the shack later. They swipe some beer and head over to the shack. It's that time. After some awkwardness, what follows is one of the hottest erotic scenes I've seen from this era. And the funny thing is, there's nothing to it but the tension that has built up between these two friends. I can see how anyone could identify with these two at the time that this was released, given the cultural differences. But the sweet tenderness of the moment doesn't last too long, as it appears to be followed by regret and shame. Jeez, it's like the story of my life coming out. Billy puts on his runaway vest and leaves to avoid any more awkwardness, but his father tasks Gary to go out and find him. Billy is going through it. He finds himself in a hotel and apparently has already found himself another guy. Cue Jimmy Hughes. The man leaves and Billy follows shortly after. We get some pretty landscape shots of Palm Springs before Billy is picked up by a stranger with some serious serial killer vibes. And he doesn't get that no means no. The driver picks up another guy and has better luck with him. Gary is back at the shack, having no luck in finding Billy.
I know why you ran away, but I'm not sorry. I'd do it again, too. I'd do it again, goddamn you.
Now Gary is out on the road. He ends up at a rest area and meets a man who gives him a ride back to the shack. The guy comes on strong, but Gary rolls with it. Afterwards, Gary has an aha moment. He misses Billy, who has been gone for what I can only imagine is a day. Billy calls his dad and tells him he's in Los Angeles, staying with an acid head in the basement.
I hope that wasn't a long-distance call.
After a psychedelic erotic scene, this hippie turns out to be annoying but wise.
And take my advice and go back where you came from. Depravity isn't something you learn at once. It takes time and practice.
Billy's also really putting his father through it. Billy returns to his hometown in slow motion and is greeted by his dad, who seems a bit pissed, but he cracks open a couple of beers and listens to him.
How do you like that? Just disappears, not a word, not a note, just takes off, packs a suitcase like a big...
Pa, you're not listening to me. I'm a homosexual, Pa.
I know that. Now, Hillbilly Joe, your mother, God rest her, she knew a lot of things, and one day she says to me, someday I won't be around. Billy Joe's going to find out some things about himself, and he's going to come and tell you. And I says, what am I supposed to do? And she says, you got to love him. And I says, well, hell, then there ain't no problem. I already love him. I mean, he's mine, ain't he? You're mine.
Pa, I thought you were going to hate me, Pa.
Hate. Billy, you start hating yourself. Pretty soon you start thinking everybody hates you. You gonna drink that beer or is it gonna get flat?
What am I going to do, Pa?
I'll tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna go out on that damn desert and find that friend of yours, Gary Lee, and you're gonna tell him he can stop looking now. Huh? You tell him Billy Joe is home and he's gonna stay home. Now go on. Get out of here. I got a lot of work to do. Get. Goddamn kid.
I have to say, and I've said this before, I've watched a lot of vintage gay porn for this season of the podcast. This is hands down the most touching film of the era. I know it's not supposed to be by today's standards of porn, but this isn't porn. You can get off to it, sure, but this is a film, and an ambitious one at that. It's melancholic and sincere, with a coming out scene that, although not as impactful, reminded me of the coming out scene in Call Me By Your Name.
How you live your life is your business. Just remember, our hearts and our bodies are given to us only once. And before you know it, your heart's worn out. And as for your body, there comes a point when no one looks at it, much less wants to come near it.
Producer Barry Knight says he would attend screenings in San Francisco and watched with pride as audience members were wiping tears from their face. The experiment is an example of what some filmmakers were doing in the medium to set themselves apart from the normal fare. You could make an erotic gay film about friendship and self-discovery and learn something while still making it incredibly hot.
That was the end of the experiment, but it was the beginning of a new way of life for me. A way of life that had started that night in the shack, continued through the years, and is still going strong. For that, I thank you, Gary Lee, and I'll always think of you wherever you are.
You've been watching Demystifying Gay Porn. I'm your host, Ike Grande. Demystifying Gay Porn can be found on every podcast directory as well as YouTube. Demystifying Gay Porn is on X, Facebook, Instagram, Substack, Threads. And if you like what you're watching or listening to and want to be a part of the process, head over to patreon.com/demystifying gay porn, where you can support this podcast and YouTube channel, and I can continue making content like you've just enjoyed. As always, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a like, leave a comment, and let me know what else you'd like me to cover. This is Demystifying Gay Porn. My name is Ike Grande, and if you watch gay porn, I've definitely helped you get off.